Hey, you clicked on this video because you want to learn how to make a song like this? Now let's record a song. Before we start writing, we need to decide on the BPM. For a track like this, we'll need a BPM of around 110 to 140. I'll choose 120. I want to mention that I will be taking all the sounds from my own drum kit, which I made recently and am actively adding to. You can download it from my Telegram channel and via the link in the description. The drum kit has everything you need to get started, and it's completely free. This genre uses a lot of synthesizer sounds, so in this track, I'll be using a lot of serum. I think it's convenient to start with the bass notes of the main melody and then build from there. For the first melody, I took this sound. To make the melody sound like the original, you should set up an LFO as shown in the video and assign them to level. If you don't like the result, you can play around with the envelope graph for a more pleasant sound. When writing the chords, we base them on standard Brazilian rhythms, but we make the notes more sustained and add a run at the end. Duplicate the notes. Next, we write some melody on the high end and add a run at the end using semitones. I don't recommend sticking to just one example. Try to be more diverse. For processing, I cut the lows and slightly cut the highs with an equalizer, cleaned it up a bit with Soothe 2, used OTT compressor with depth at 20%, and these settings, Effector and Endless Smile for automations. For a pleasant and atmospheric background sound, I took a PAD and copied the notes from our melody, lowering the notes of the run by an octave. You can experiment here too and try to emphasize these notes. For processing, equalizer, where I cut the high and low frequencies, leaving only the mids, and OTT with depth at 36% and these settings. To complement our main melody, I took a synth and also simply copied the notes from the PAD without changing anything. The processing uses the same plugins, except on the equalizer, I cut the lows and boosted the highs, and on the OTT, I set the depth to 18%. To highlight our run, I took a pluck and copied the run notes, raising them an octave above the main melody. The processing is almost unchanged. Equalizer, OTT. Only I also added Valhalla vintage verb. You can see how I set everything up on the screen right now. The kick in this funk style is used as the bass, so I'm using this one shot for it. When writing the kick, we simply place it on the bass notes of our melody. You can vary it a bit by throwing it on different notes, but I didn't like that option, so I left it as is. For processing, only an equalizer where I cut the high frequencies. Next, all that's left is to add the acapella. In my pack, you can find a lot of acapellas, both famous and not. Experience will help you with chopping the acapella, just try things out. No one will judge you for experimenting. For processing, equalizer where I cut the highs and lows. Soothe 2 for cleaner vocals. OTT with depth at 34%. Grallion with the voice cleanup preset. And Valhalla vintage verb.
olha o bagulho já fica serão, pulo já fica serão. Olha o bagulho novinha quicando, que isso? Cano que isso? Olha o bagulho já fica serão.
I'll also show you right away where and which effects I placed. I also used perc with standard Brazilian rhythms in the second part to diversify the mix. All that's left is to do the master. First, I put on the glue. It slightly raised the project's volume and emphasized our kick. OTT, with depth at 29%. Fresh air for airiness. Ozone imager for even more width. And at the very end, I added fruity soft clipper. I also used endless smile for automation and build-up. Before I show you the result, please subscribe to my Telegram channel. A lot of useful information and FLP projects will be posted there, and I also have my own TikTok. Soon, I plan to release my music on platforms, but for that, I need your support. Let's move on to the final part.